People often ask me, Dr. Paul, how do I become a professional speaker like you? I'm a past president of our local chapter of the National Speakers Association. Why should I join the National Speakers Association? I'll give you a few reasons. I am a professional speaker. I have been speaking professionally for at least 2 decades now as part of my practice and part of what I do in positive psychology. As a psychologist, I get asked a lot about my opinion, and I bring trainings and keynotes and breakouts to different events. I got really serious about speaking maybe 7 or 8 years ago when a friend of mine said, Dr. Paul, if you're a speaker, your professional association is the National Speakers Association. I hadn't even heard of that. NSA. And not the NSA some people think of. We're the ones who speak, not the ones who listen. The National Speakers Association is my professional association. And I'm here today to tell you a little bit about why I joined and why you might want to consider it if you're in that area. I have people asking me all the time how to become a professional speaker, what it's going to take. And one of the first things that I recommend to them is that they join NSA. Here's why. As a professional association, the National Speakers Association brings together resources and training and people who can support you in your desire to become or improve on your skills in being a professional speaker. Now, I'm going to get psychological on you for just a minute, because how you show up is driven by how you see yourself. It's all about perception. And I still remember when I first showed up at an NSA meeting, and I felt a little out of place. Like I was a wannabe, like I was a hopeful, like I was maybe having potential to do something, but I wasn't there yet. Are you familiar with the Impostor Syndrome? Where you feel like you just don't quite fit. You'd like to, but if anybody figures out that I'm not really all of that, I'll be exposed for the nobody that I am. I felt some of that because this association is populated with some amazing, fabulous, wonderful, inspiring people. Some of whom I had read their books, or I'd even interviewed them on my podcast, and I'm just in awe of these amazing people. Now, at the same time, even though I felt a little bit of an imposter syndrome, I felt like these are my people. These guys love to be on the stage, at the mic, and I love that. Which is weird, by the way, because if you enjoy public speaking, you're in a very small percentage of people. That's a little weird. So notice that. Most people don't fear public speaking. As my friend Dan Clark put it, who is a Hall of Fame speaker, they fear not speaking well. Speaking poorly. That's what the real fear is, and NSA can help you with that. As I began to attend chapter meetings and learn some of the tools and tricks and tips and secrets of the trade, I started to gain a little bit of confidence. There was a time when I looked around that room where I'd sat earlier and felt like, oh, I wish I were one of these people. And as I was looking around the room, I realized, you know what? I am. My own view of myself had changed to the point where I could own it. And that was transformational for me. My conversations started to change. The way I talked about my fees started to change. The ways I was showing up in my practice or on the platform. It all changed because my own view of myself had changed. I think one of the most powerful ways that I got there, in addition to all of the great information and training and events that you can get through an association like this, is the relationships that I formed with other real people who are actually doing what I wanted to do. That is powerful. I also learned a whole lot about how to avoid the landmines. the tripping points or the potholes that you could step in along your way to where you want to go. All of these amazing people that I met helped me to see and avoid some of those landmines, which accelerated my process. I've been involved in the NSA now for about 7 years. I've been involved in other volunteer organizations, including my own nonprofit organization, my local church and community. And here's something that I've learned that is absolutely powerful. So make a note of this. And I don't care if it's the NSA or if it's some other organization that serves you in your particular purpose. Get involved. Jump in. Serve. Volunteer. Contribute. I believe that there is a direct correlation between what we get from something with what we contribute to something. Show up and give. In fact, you know what? At the last NSA convention that I attended in Dallas, Texas, I got to sit next to Bob Berg for breakfast. He's the author of a book called The Go-Giver. That's a little cue. And as I was chatting with Bob about this is a philosophy he lives by, and he is now a Hall of Fame speaker, by the way. You get what you give. Focus on the giving. So when you show up at NSA, get involved in your local chapter. Volunteer to serve on a committee. Sign up to be on the board of directors. Do something that allows you to engage at that level. And I promise that the payoff is going to be phenomenal when you do that. Like I said, it's not just about NSA. If you're volunteering down at the soup kitchen, get involved. Show up. Contribute. If you're serving at your church or synagogue, show up. Serve. Volunteer. You contribute, and that all comes back to you in an abundant way that you can't even imagine. Why should you join the National Speakers Association? Well, if you want to be a speaker, that's your professional association. And I'll add a little caveat here that I was not paid for this advertisement. I'm simply sharing with you what my experience has been with an organization that's made a big difference in how I see myself. I hope that's been helpful. You probably have a chapter of NSA somewhere near you. Look it up at nsaspeaker.org and feel free to reach out to me if you have some additional questions. Honored to have you here on my channel.
I saw her standing in the street.